So hello everyone, we are preparing this particular video for a lot of doubts which we have regarding the setting out plans of the building. So we have already shared this with you all for the stepwise things we supposed to do for the setting out plan. Uh, so what we are going to do is we are going to see a very quick mock-up about how to go about it. So if you So if you see the screen here right now, uh, uh, what we are uh, what we are looking at is some kind of a file which is already shared with you all, where which shows the site and the little bit of a surrounding with site measurements and everything, diagonal measurements and everything. The first step you guys have to do is to get your drawing to this level. This is a hypothetical uh, plan which we have. Okay, so what we are going to for this particular presentation purpose, we are going to use this particular building outline kind of a this. Okay, so we are going to constantly switch between the Word file and the AutoCAD file. So this particular tags are being created for that. Then also the at this level you have to come, okay, where you have extreme center lines for your building. Okay, and then we'll see how we can actually go about this particular setting out of a building. Okay, so I'm just going to make a use of this and I'm going to rotate it. Okay, so that you can see that how I'm changing most of the things for me. Okay, so I have to rotate this so that this particular building become. Okay, so the few of the scales of the lines have been changed. For example, this is the line type, which is a ceiling line type, which have been modified to the line type scale to 500 so that it is readable at the 500 scale drawing. Okay, that one thing which you have to change in your drawing as well when you are getting your drawing to this level. This green color line, which is wall external layer, um, with the point 0.3 line width, is something which is nothing but the plinth outline of the building, that is the ground line. So there might be few overhangs or something. Okay, but we are eliminating because this particular drawing is purely concerned with the setting out for the plinth construction. Okay, so you have to get this first right. Okay, then what we are going to do is the next thing is going to happen is you have to copy paste the side drawing which is already given to you. Remove the diagonal lines. There is already a benchmark given here, so that is the advantage. So we'll go step by step. Okay, what's supposed to be given, the north is given, the context is there. I have changed the line width to this right now. Okay, which is nothing but, yeah, which is nothing but the dash line which we had for the ceiling with the 500 scale which is here. Okay, so it is readable, so those becomes the, this particular lines become the center line for me, whatever I have selected right now. Okay, I'm keeping the distance dimensions of the site here, but I have removed the diagonal dimension. So we'll go to the Word file and we'll see what is the first step to start the setting out. The first step is to uh, mark the medians of all the road, dimension it from the median to the road. So for that we are going, it's a 12-meter road, so we are going to create the setback of 6 meter. Okay, we have to construct the hypothetical lines here so that we can extend it. Okay, so this become 12-meter wide road. Now our median is at the 6 meters, so we will also dimension it. Okay, it's 6,000, and then we have to use this one of the text and just keep it here, keep the caps on, and mention it is a median. It's as simple as this. So median is mentioned, then using the le command. Okay, I am drawing this arrow particular. Okay, and the median is specified in this. Okay, similarly we have to do the similar exercise for the west side of a road. So that road is also 12 meters, so 6,000 again setback. It goes there. Readjust the text a little bit. Okay, this line goes ahead. Okay, so that is how the medians are. Now you can start copy pasting this particular text everywhere. You may not rotate it. Okay, you may not rotate it, so that is something which you have to maintain, that the sheet is going to be like this. So that is happen. Now we can delete all these lines. These are no more required. Again, as we said, all the dimensions have to be given here. Okay, so this brings us to the completion of the first step. Okay, so the next step is tag the side corner points as PQRS. As we have already used the AutoCAD in the center line, the ABCD as the alphabet. So we are going to start putting the coordinates of the sight line, which is dash purple line, as a PQRS. So I wanted to start with here as a benchmark. I want to start with here. So I'll copy the P here. Okay. Then Q here. Okay. I'll shift the text. Q here. I'm going clockwise here. Q here. R here. Okay. And the S here. Okay, so this take us to the completion of the second stage, where tag the side corner points as PQRS. Third is dimension PQ, QR, RS, and SP, and give diagonal dimensions of side. Okay, so that is the third step right now. So the third step, we have already not deleted the side dimensions, so we'll check the dimensions of it has to start from the P to Q. Okay, then Q to R, the dimensions are there. Then R to S, dimensions are there, and S to P. Okay, so we also completed the third step. Now we have to give the diagonal dimensions. So we will provide the diagonal dimensions. While doing so, make sure that you are slightly keeping this particular dimensions little bit far from the space where you are going to put your building. So dimensions start from the for the sight line, the center lines of the site basically. So that is how the build diagonal dimensions of the side center lines are given. So that we have already done. This is done for a very simple reason, because it forms the triangulation method here. All the points could be marked using the triangulation method. Okay, so that is there. Then the fourth point is mark the benchmark BM. Okay, so there is a benchmark here. So I'm just going to turn it to the BM. So the point P which we have established is nothing but the benchmark. You can either write BM or you can just keep this as a benchmark. Okay, so that benchmark is there. Okay, the next one is fifth point is prepare a building center line drawing with only extreme center line. It tags ground floor plinth line in case of a basement, select a basement face line, but in I don't think so anybody have a basement. Just remember, whenever you are preparing the center line drawing for the setting out plan, select the excavation जिसके लिए होने वाला है. So that is very very important. So we have already prepared this drawing, okay, where the building is like this. Now I'm just copying this particular building and I'm trying to place it here. I have to consider the setbacks and everything. So I am using some kind of a calculation because so that that can be then fit in accordingly. Okay, I am using the command M and P enter. M enter, P enter, so that it helps me to move the previously selected building. So right now what have happened is the building is 12-meter away from the south side and the west side. Okay, west side of the plot right now. So I have positioned my building. Okay, if there are few dimensions which are here and there, you can move the few dimensions. That's not a problem. Okay, you can do that. Okay, so it doesn't disturb the main drawing. This particular drawing is in a PL format, so it's a continuous line, so I can select while hatching it. Okay, so the next stage after this, okay, once we prepare this particular building center line, okay, so it is there, then hatch the plinth outline. Okay, so we have to hatch this selected area, which is nothing but the plinth area. Okay, for this particular hatch, because we have to highlight the particular area, I'm going to use the very simple hatch and make it the scale to 100. I'm going to select the block and it's going to be hatch. Okay, I'm just going to change the layer of it to the hatch, which is already been given to you. That's how this particular building is right now highlighted. Okay, the scale and everything you have just seen. Okay, it's the scale of this particular hatch uh, is 100. Okay, it's here, and this is the pattern which I have selected as a hatch. Okay, not much to talk about it. That completes the sixth step. The seventh step is give coordinates of plinth outline as L1, L2 and L3. So the outline which we have created, okay, will we have to start marking it. So what I'll do is I'll again start marking it. I'll just going to reduce the scale of it a little bit. So I'm going to scale this particular block to 0.8, so it's become a little bit smaller. I'll start naming it as L1. Okay, I'm again going clockwise for this. L2. Okay, all the offset you have to now start considering. This will be L3, L4, L5, okay, no, it has selected, I have to select it like keep it aside a little bit so that we can dimension it later on. L6, L7, L8, L9, then we have to select this, bring it here, mark this as L10. Okay, so this is how we have created, we have given the coordinates to the plinth line which we have. That completes the uh, step 7. Okay, make sure no coordinates are repeated. Again, we have to take care of that this particular L is not been used before. Okay, not in your center line, not in the coordinations of your site. Okay, so if it is there, you can change this particular uh, alphabet code um, for your coordinates. The next step is dimension all sides offset of plinth line. Okay, so this is very important step. Okay, make sure that your dimension layer is on. You select it, you take this out. Okay, just see how I'm using the particular dimension method for this. Okay, if few dimensions are going to create a little bit of a problem, make sure that you move them a little bit. Okay, that's how I'm giving the measurement. Then so you can constantly move this a little bit so that you can start getting the dimension. Just see how all the dimensions are overlapped. Okay, it's very important to understand this. If this alpha is coming in between, you can select alpha full together and just move here and there. Okay, so that the dimensions remains uh, readable. Okay, now everything is has to be readable. Nothing should be something which will confuse it, because okay, so that is how we have finished the dimensionings of the all the setback. Now another important thing which is remain is giving the overall uh, measurement of the particular building if it is required. But right now this is more than enough. Okay, people can do the additions and then they can come up with the overall dimensions. So we have dimension the whole building. Yeah, the one setback remains is here, so we'll do that. Okay, so also with this particular setback is there. Okay, so now we got a problem of moving this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to align it here. Okay, so the L10 will be shifted here roughly. So the coordinates could be, dimension could be read. Okay, so I can take this a little bit down so that it doesn't go into the hatch. Okay, you can do these kind of things, understand how things can be managed. Okay, so make sure that nothing goes on the drawing. Okay, the information is very clear, there is nothing which we have to use it. Okay, so this completes the overall dimensions, that completes the 8th step. If you have a courtyard or a chalk present on the design, just mark on this particular diagram. So what does it mean? What it means is, if you have any kind of a courtyard which kind of happens in between, this is the diagram in which you can just indicate it. Okay, so this particular layout doesn't have that, so I'm not going to put a courtyard or a chalk. The 10th is the mark a rectangle, a pure geometrical shape as a plinth line and create a offset of 900 to 1200 mm for a plinth line. If you remember the initial theoretical lecture for the setting out plan, we talked about the how the excavation lines are created on the site. So now we are creating that excavation line. Okay, you can refer to that previous lecture. So what I'm simply going to do is this particular outline of a building which we have here. okay, which I'm just selecting right now for you so you understand. It's not the outline of the center line, it's the outline of the building or the face line of the building. I have just created a rectangle around it, and I'm going to create 12,000, 9,900 to 12,000 mm setback. So this is the rectangle, okay, and I'm going to delete this so it doesn't clear. So this is the particular rectangle which I am supposed to, now this will become the excavation line. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the line width to this as a overhead. If you can see, okay, I can again give the line width of this like this. I'm just going to increase the scale of it again, select it, ch enter. I'm going to make it 750 right now. Okay, so it's become another line here. Okay, and now what I have to do is, as per this instruction, I have to, the new rectangle will be excavation line for the contractor. Okay, so I have, what I have done is, this particular dimension I have to give somewhere. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give this particular dimensions from here, so that's 12,000. From here also it's going to be 12,000. Okay, so that we know that the excavation line is going to be there. Also, I'm going to copy this, keep it here, and mention this as a excavation line. Otherwise, once this particular drawing is black and white, it's going to be very difficult to understand what this particular line means is. You have to also check the scale of this arrows. So fit arrow is 6, so I'm going to make it 15. I'm going to make it. Okay, so I have marked the excavation line right now. Okay, I have also changed the value of arrow by going back here to 15 so that it is readable after printing it. So the excavation line is marked. Once you mark the excavation line, I have also changed the uh, line weight of the excavation line to zero point 0.3. Okay, I'm just checking whether there is no overlap of text, any text which may create some problem for us. So that is how we have created this particular excavation line. Okay, you can see that it is still looking neat, though a lot of information have come on this. Okay, and still a lot of information yet to come. Okay, it's very important step. The step 10 is, sorry, the step 10 is very important step. Okay, because this is the first information which we are providing in terms of how we are going to construct the excavated part of it. The 11th step is give coordinates to newly created rectangle as t1, t2, t3 and t4. So the another thing which we have to again do it is, we have to start giving its coordinate. Okay, so we will start with, this is eventually going to become T2. I am going to start all the labeling from the setting out point. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to shift L1 inside now, inside the drawing, so that it, people doesn't get confused between what is, where is L1 and what is T1 is. So that is 1. Then I'm going to also shift here and give it to T3. Okay, and this is going to be T4, this coordinate, last coordinate, because it's going to be a rectangle or any pure geometrical shape like a square or something which we can easily plot. Okay, that is how it, because it's a rectangle. Okay, Okay, give both side dimensions, both side and diagonal dimensions of the rectangle. Give both side and diagonal dimensions of the rectangle. So because it's going to be a rectangle, we are just going to give one dimension. Okay, as a geometrical understanding, we are going to do that. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this is what happened now. Okay, so we got the dimensions of the all the rectangles and everything. The next step is mark the SOP, setting out points. Sorry, setting out point, that is extreme column mirror to benchmark and give coordinates as 0 comma 0. So that is the first column which is going to be constructed roughly here. Okay, so it's going to be a column. So the column size here, uh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some kind of a column size which is, let's say, uh, you can create it actually, the column. This is my point. This is the actual point which is going to become and setting out point. Okay, the intersections of the first center lines. Okay, all the horizontal and vertical center line. So what we are going to do is we are going to simply mark this using the arrow as the setting out point. Okay, sorry, L E enter, it's a command, and then you can just draft it out twice. Clear? You can then edit it. This particular point is going to be the setting out point. So I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger and assign a line weight to it so that it is known that this is going to be a setting out point. Okay, again select a text. This will be SOP. Okay, coordinate as in a bracket 0 comma 0. Okay, or you can just keep it very simple like this. Okay, so just mention it here. Okay, so this become the SOP. Just change it to the text tag. Okay, and you're good to go. Yeah, so that is how we have also marked the setting out now. Okay, make sure that all the text is in a text layer only. Okay, so all the horizontal text you can select, make it. For the vertical text you can just go and then select this. Okay, we can do that later on also. So that is how it is. This is what we got right now as the excavation line. So the whatever the pegs or the planking will happen will get constructed along this particular excavation line. So that is very important for us to understand which is the excavation line and what is going to be the actual building line. So this is also important. If you want to remove it, you can remove it. This particular point is only need to be highlighted. So there are various ways we can highlight this particular points. Okay, you can also do this. Okay, so this gets highlighted. uh, you have to do the match property to the arrow so that arrow becomes readable. Okay, legible for you to read. Let's move to the next step. Okay, this is also very important step where you are first time marking the 0 comma 0. So now more or less we have finished with all the coordination. Okay, giving coordinates and setting up our building on the site in terms of its own dimension and its own configurations to everyone. We got diagonal dimensions of the center line. Okay, we have to give the diagonal dimensions of the center line again, as it's a rectangle. Okay, as it's a rectangle, it's going to have its own diagonal dimensions. So please remember that these diagonal dimensions are these diagonal dimensions are also very important so that we can, oops, sorry. No. It's right, I guess. Yeah. So if we just want to change the particular dimensions of center line from here to here, that is also fine. That should not be an issue. Okay, so you got this particular dimension. Okay, make sure that points are rightly intersected. Okay, and there is no difference. Okay, so that is also done. I think I have missed that step of providing a diagonal dimensions of the center line. Now next is using triangulation method, give three measurements of setting out point from setting out point from benchmark. A perpendicular measurement to compound wall can be given only for cross-checking purpose. Very, very important. So what we will do is, okay, now this particular setting out point which we have, now we are going to mark it using the triangulation method. Okay, so we will dimension this. Okay, then we are going to give this particular dimension. Okay, this particular dimension, the point which is perpendicular to this road. Okay, that particular point, this particular point. Okay, we also have to give measurement of it so that we know that from where we are going to actually plot this particular triangle. Okay, so what many people do is they can also do this, that they can give also coordinate to this. Okay, so it can be given as, let's say, p dash. Okay, you can use any abbreviation for this. Okay, you can make it p1, or if you want to go for pq or s ho gaya, so you can take a t, but we already have selected here, so it could be u, so it can be a different point altogether, or it could be a Roman number also. So there, it doesn't matter. The what matters is you mention that this particular dimension, so the dimensions from p to p dash has to be given. Hence we now have practically form a triangle to mark this particular point, which is L1. Okay, the not the L1, the actually the intersections of the A and 1. Okay, center line A and 1. So you have to remove this. Okay, you may not again continue with this particular dash line because there are going to be too many dash lines. So we will use this particular tick to identify the point. Okay, so that is how we have identified the triangular dimension. The next step, okay, after this is to mark only to mark any line on plot. We need minimum 2 points. Hence mark another point on the setting out point to create a line on a plot using the triangulation method. If I wanted to draw any line, okay, I will require what, 2 points basically. Okay, then I'll take this line and then I can join these 2 points and it will become a line. Similarly, on site also, in actual, you have to have minimum 2 points so that you can have a parallel or whatever straight line which you wanted to mark on site. So I'm going to use the next point, which is T10. Okay, I'm going to use the T10 for the uh, particular identification of a new point. So the idea is going to be very, very simple. Okay, either you take the measurement of this, or you can start marking the dimensions which are like this. Can take this particular excel. What we'll do is we'll do the excavation line only. Okay, so now we are giving a triangulation method of T1. Okay, it's very, very important. It's very, very much. So what we are going to do, again, we are going to create another point here. We are going to give the dimensions of T4 now. This is going to be very similar, so it should not be an issue as a dimension. Okay, right. Okay, it's going to be a same dimension here. Okay, and as I said, this particular point need to be marked on PS, so we'll again use this particular tick which we have generated. Just keep it here. Okay, and now we will give dimension from this. Never forget, okay, to make parallel dimensioning alignment. Okay, now what we have to do is we have to, again, as I said, we have to give the coordinate to it. Okay, so for this we can give it this as SS dash. So by doing this, by establishing point T1 and T4, okay, on a site, okay, so we have achieved one parallel line, and by using now this triangulation method, okay, we will first mark this particular bigger excavation line, and then we'll go inside and start marking this particular building outline which we have created. So because it is much easier to first plot the rectangle, and if it few setbacks are not right, if few physical objects are coming in between for the construction sake, then we can alter the bigger rectangle so that we don't have to waste a lot of resources on constructing the center line using chuna powder or anything, or rassi. Okay, so that is how we have established the point T4. So now there are distances from T4 to S dash, T4 to S, and all these dimensions are now clear. So I'll just also mark this here. Okay, so now all these dimensions are very, very clear to very, very clear for the contractors to understand. Okay, the next stage is mark the diagonal dimensions of the center line, which we have already done. So mention the column number as a size in a table. So the column which will happen here, you have to issue a drawing of a center line along with this. We have already discussed this in the previous discussion, that which drawings will be issued with this. So make sure that the intersected column at A1, okay, is also been given in pretty much detail in your center line layout. Okay, the detailed center line layout. Okay, then mark a gate in the compound wall. So before starting with the compound wall, it's very, very important to understand this particular line belong to the road, so you cannot actually construct a compound wall. Okay, you cannot create an offset of, let's say, 175 or 175 towards this as a compound wall, because this particular line belongs to the municipal authority. So you have to create a setback of whatever your compound wall size is, um, to inside the site. Okay, wherever you are sharing the uh, plot with somebody else, okay, the plot line is at the center, so the compound wall is shared between the both the side. But whenever you have a road, it is going to be shared with it is not going to be shared with the road. The setback is going to get inside. Okay, that's very, 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 very easy and simple to remember. Okay, so now I'm going to create a compound wall of a 350 thick. Okay, now the few lines will be gone. Okay, Similarly, this will be that. So I'm creating offset. In this case, there is a residential plot here. Okay, there is a residential plot here. So create the I have to create the setback of, okay, of this. Okay, so equally I'm going to distribute to both the areas. The center line will be seen in this case. Then I'm using the fillet command to fill this. Okay, make sure that nothing changes. Okay, make sure that no dimensions is change. Okay, while doing this. Okay, so this is what have happened now. Okay, and this completes uh, the compound wall construction. Okay, another important thing is, because you have this 12-meter road to both the side. Okay, you have to make this particular corner curve. So what we are going to do is, first we are going to draft this out, and then we are going to make it ready for the construction. So just follow the steps. Okay, fillet command, F enter, R enter. So whatever is the width of the road, you have to exactly take the half of it. So it's 12 meters, so I'm going to take 6 meter as a fillet value. The extreme corner I'm going to curve it like this. Okay, then whatever is the offset of it, I'm going to put it there. Okay, so that is no, something I went wrong. Set of 350. Yeah, and then I'm going to just simply trim these lines, delete this. And that's why I wanted to have this particular plus symbol. Okay, I'm again going to reconstruct what is this line. Okay, the line is here. Okay, I'm just making sure that nothing gets disturbed in this. Okay, that's why I wanted to just have this particular plus symbol here, because I knew that it's going to be curved out at the end of the day. Okay, so now we again re-establish the center line. Compound wall is curved. Now we have to mark the center of it. Okay, so what I'll do is, just to start with it, I just write the command circle, and then try to identify the center of this. Okay, so this is the center of it using the circular command. Now I'll simply again copy this with the base, just put it here. So it marks the center of it. And now you have to go into the dimension tool. Okay, go to the radius and give this radius here. Okay, so the radius will come here. Okay, just try to push it somewhere so that it's become readable. Okay, it will come slowly. Yeah, so it will come here. So you can shift this particular block the way you want to. So now we got the radius of 600 here. Okay, and this particular point is, again we have to mark it, give a coordination. Okay, so this could be then U. Okay, don't use I and O, because it gets confused with 1 and 0 as a value. So make sure that if you are using it, you can go for the Roman number, otherwise like what we have. So that is how we have also corner the compound wall for our our design. So right now this particular drawing is at this stage. The next stage is mark and dimension security cabin. Sorry, create a gate in the compound wall. That is the next stage. Okay. So as per my design, I have understood that. Okay, I'm going to create a gate uh, to the west side of the plot. Okay, so I'm just going to use few lines which will help me to create a gate. So I'm going to create a 3 meter wide gate here. Okay, then it's going to be a pier, and then I'm going to have a 12 meter 1.2 meter wide pedestrian gate. So that sum up to this this breaks in this particular things. Okay, so now I have created a compound wall which is like this. If you wanted to shift this median somewhere inside, that's fine. So that's the gate. So we'll copy it, we'll mention it here. Okay, gate. Okay, we can do this little bit here, and then we will dimension this because we should know what is the opening of this particular gate. That's very important. Okay, so that's completes the particular information which we wanted to give. You can create arrows here to indicate this as a gate. So this is the only puncture which we are going to have. So what I'm going to do is I'm also now start going to create this particular stage is very important right now because I'm going to start creating a few you have to give a reference that it's a 90-degree. Okay, and you have to also give the information that how far it is from the point which is S. So that information is also given. Okay, so that information is also given here, how far it is. Make sure that it is match property. So it's finished like that. You have to give all the shortest dimension. So I'm not allowing vehicles to enter from this side, but I'm allowing vehicles to enter from this side. That sum up to me. So because I have a stilt area from all the four sides, I have decided to create the 4.5 meter wide hardscape from all the four sides of my building. So I'm going to create 4.5 meter wide. Okay, or if you want you can also create a 6 meter wide driveway to the four side of the road. Okay, so that is what is going to happen here. Luckily it's get intersected with this. Okay, so this is what the line which we get as a hardscape line. So right now from the gate also, as you know, this will be the hardscape line. Again, it's a 6 meter roadway. So I am simply using the similar method of making जो हम लोगों ने अभी compound wall में किया. So I'm going to first break it, then FR 6 meter wide ये है, तो I'm going to go for the 3000 here. Okay, so that is how this particular the roadway is going to be created. I'm going to copy this text. I'm going to just put it here and I'm going to write 6.0 meter wide road. Okay, or driveway. It's mentioned here. I'm simply going to copy and paste it here. Okay, similarly I'm going to copy paste it here. So whatever information which you have to start giving it here first. Okay, make sure that it is match property is given to it. Okay, so this demarks the this particular thing demarks the information about the hardscape. The next thing which we have to identify, if you have a watchman's cabin which is going to be which involves the plinth construction, then you have to first mark the watchman's cabin. So I'm just going to create one rectangle box of, let's say, uh, a box of ready-made watchman's cabins, which is, let's say, 1200, or maybe 1500 by 1500. Okay, so we get this particular. So we'll create a watchman cabins here. Okay, and we are going to place it here. Okay, so this is watchman's cabin. Again, make sure that you write down here. Okay, watchman's cabin, or WB. This can be an abbreviation, and then you can explain this abbreviation in the your performer. That's not an issue. Okay, and the roughly the dimensioning is given from how far it is from the how far it is from the compound wall. So that information is again provided here. Okay, so this is watchman cabins. That's another information which we wanted to give. Okay, you can, if you want, you can actually write it down here somewhere. You can use watchman's cabin. Okay, it can be here. Okay, you can use the arrow to denote the information. Again, to the match property, delete this. So that is how a 1500 by 1500 watchman's cabin has been created. Okay, it's a ready-made watchman's cabin, and then you can just simply provide this particular information. Okay, if that information is creating some kind of a hurdle, that information can be given here. Okay. That's it. So we got the watchman's cabin now. Now as per the steps, we have to also mark the underground tank and its distance from the compound wall. Why underground tank? Because it, again, as I said, it's going to involve the particular excavation process. So what preferably your underground tank will be somewhere closer to the municipal water supply line. So I'm going to create some kind of 4000 by, let's say, okay, this size of underground tank. Okay, which is just symbolic. I'll just make it 1 meter land here. Okay, so this particular tank is again going to be 1 meter or 1.5 meter away from the, or 2 meter away from the main building, and it is pretty much aligned with this. So what we are going to do is, process remain the same. We start giving measurements from this to this, from the main compound wall once you are going to construct it. Okay, so how far it is going to be, and the dimensions of all the underground tanks. I'll again take this and I'll write this as underground water tank. Okay. So this is the basic information which we are providing to the all the contractor. So these two informations are very vital, that this is going to be watchman's cabin and this is going to be the underground tank. Make sure that you mark them properly. All the dimensions are given and everything. So that's completes the rest of the area. After completing this, then you have to go for the marking of the recreational ground area or the RG area. So in my particular design, I'm allotting this as an RG. Make sure that it is at least 10% of the area, and I'm going to demark this particular RG with particular hatch. Okay, so I'll go into the hatch, other hatch. If you can see this cross hatch, I'm going to go for that. Okay, and it will come up like this. So go to the, again select the hatch. All the hatch has to be in this layer itself. This is RG. Again, as I said, the information have to be given. So I will write it that recreational ground. Okay, so we don't have to design the recreational ground, but we just have to provide the information that the recreational ground will be there. After that, what you have to do is start marking the compound wall columns and piers in plan. So that will take some time for you guys to understand what should be the distance between the two piers. So first of all, you make a pier of, let's say, 350. In my case it's workable, or let's say let's make a load bearing pier. So I'll make the 450 by 450 squarish pier. Okay, let's give a line weight to this. Okay, and this particular pier I'm going to make it as a block. Okay, see column piers, and then I'm going to see the coordination to this. So now this is the block, okay, which I'm going to uh, simply copy paste into uh, multiple multiple destinations basically. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll first make sure that, oops, I'll make sure that this particular line, I'll again copy paste this to the extreme. This step is very important because now you have to equally place it. You have to equally place it. So this is what we have right we have right now. And now I'll use command div enter, select the line which is the center to center column line, Pierce line. Okay, and let's check the distance, uh, divided into a 10 equal parts, and check the distance between center to center. So this is roughly 3 meter. So we are good to go. So this is how we are going to place the column. The distance between the load bearing piers should be around between 3 to 3.4 meter. Okay, now all the piers are equally placed. Okay, if you are creating the RCC piers, the distance could be 4 meter, 6 meter, anything, and the brick can then take the load. Then I'm basically trimming this particular lines. Okay, so I'm trimming these lines. Okay, make sure that this particular hatch is readable. If you think this is too big, you can make it smaller if you want. so that it, once it's printed, it is proper. So I have given a value to it as a 75. This is the cross pattern which I'm using. Okay. The rest of the area as a information, what you have to do is, okay, it could be a landscape area. Okay, so make sure that you also mention that there, okay, that it's going to be a landscape area. This is also going to be a landscape area. Don't have to actually design any landscape area, it's just providing an information that it's a landscape area. Okay, so this is how it completes the diagram. Okay, if you want to use a particular hatch to denote this, you can do that. Okay, another important thing which you have to do is you have to start mentioning the at least the level here. Okay, so the median level is going to be 0.0 meter level. Okay, so I'm just going to simply create a rectangle around it at center. Yeah, so this is the level box which we have. Okay, this is 0.0 meter level. We are just going to copy paste to here as fm f8. Okay, as you know, it's okay, we have to mention the level here again. Okay, you have to mention, because it's going to be a developed ground, this is going to be at least plus 0 point at least 0.15 meter level. Okay, simply again copy paste here as an information. If this box looks too big, can reduce the scale to again 0.8, reduce the scale to 0.8. Yes. Okay, so this is what the information we are trying to give is, this whole thing is going to be at the 0.15 meter level. So when you are giving a detailed floor plan, make sure that this particular level is mentioned on your ground floor plan. Okay, and all the further levels are given accordingly. Okay, so the way we have now detailed out this particular compound wall, you have to detail out all the compound wall. Okay, if you want, uh, you can give the information that the column or the piers are center to center, they are equidistant. You may not give the dimension of this. Okay, what information you can give here is all piers 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 piers on this wall. 11 piers or piers, whatever, 11 piers are equally distant or equally distributed or equally. Check the spelling always. Yeah. Okay, so make sure that it's an information. So that information is given. Okay, so because it has to happen here, we are just giving that information to this. Okay, so it's again sum up the information for us. Okay, so you can just mark it here like this. Okay, and that information is again, as I said, it is provided that okay, this particular line is equally distributed. Okay, similarly now you have to start providing the all the columns here. Okay, so the information here also can be then provided, how far it is from the west side, no, south east side, this thing compound wall. Okay, that information is provided, and then we can start following up. Okay, the last step is very important, where the mark the perpendicular corner of the plot using Builder square or Pythagoras method, locally known as the 345. So generally what happens is, that is also they establish that particular point as the a landmark, but in our case luckily we have this particular corner as the 90 degree. So again we are going to use the dimension method, and we are going to, oh, sorry, not the polygon, sorry, dimension radius arc or the circle. Oh, it's an angular, sorry, it's an angle dimension angular, yeah, and then it will provide us the information like this. So I'm going to mirror this particular dimension here so it doesn't confuse anyone. Okay, so this is the 90-degree angle. Okay, there is no other 90-degree angle, but that is how it is. So it's where you have to be really cautious in terms of where you wanted to provide the piers. So in this case also, you can simply take this as a piers. Okay, the next pier could be again at the start of the arc, very importantly start of the arc. Make this line at the center of the pier. Okay, it's little bit outside, always check the dimensions. Okay, so it's there. Okay, and now you have to make sure that it is somewhat equally distributed. Okay, so we'll make it more or less the center of this particular line. So it is roughly of that particular size. Okay, so that's how we are getting the column. The piers will be in angle here, so you have to actually align them to this particular curve like this. And then what you have to do is make sure that you know the center of this particular thing, make it a little bit eccentric one if you want. Okay, and put this particular column at the center of this, okay, center of this arc basically. Okay, you can just trim this and later on. Okay, so that is how the piers is put on this particular column. And just mention peers are equally distributed. Okay. And now similarly, you can mark the next column, this particular. So when you are taking up this particular column, make sure that that column goes till here. Okay, so I'm not putting the column like this. Okay, because the compound wall will be shared here, I'm going to put the piers here. So now this particular line, which is here, now I'll check for the equal distribution. So the line which is here right now is roughly 38. So I have to divide this line into again around 11 divisions. Yeah, so it's 3.4. So what I'll do is I'll again divide it into 12 and check the measurement. If it is less than 3.4 meter, I'll go with it. Okay, perfect. So now we got this. So now I'll simply start putting up these all columns. The command which I'm using for the division is I'm typing div enter, then I'm selecting a line which supposed to be divided. Okay, and then I'm mentioning the number by which the whole line will get divided. Okay, and automatically all these points are then coming up here. Okay, so that's how I'm simply using AutoCAD to help me uh, divide the line into a multiple points, so I don't have to actually manually sit and calculate the size. That's how this particular compound wall is also finished. Similarly, once we see this, okay, make sure that this particular column, the extreme column is again placed. Extreme column is placed. While trimming the line, just make sure that the the dimension ticks are not moved, because what happens is basically these dimension lines are taken from the line only, projected from the line only. They are tend to move once you trim that same line only. So make sure that that doesn't happen. This particular line is approximately 44. So I have to divide this line into, to just get 3.4, I might have to divide this line into 16. Something comes around 3.2, that will be okay. I have to divide it into 14 now. Divide it into div enter line, then 14. Let's check the 3.4. I'll try 13 now. Just check what happens. So it's getting bigger. So div enter. I'll go back to the 14. Okay. So now what I have to do is, again, because the line is an angle, I have to first align the column or the pier which you have. You can align it. Okay. Then simply start copy pasting it. As I said, this particular column or peers have to share it with the residential building block. So now I have to copy paste it like this. So there is a difference between this pier which doesn't go on the road, and there is this particular pier where we are sharing the compound wall, have a particular position. Very, very important for us to understand this. Okay, then select this particular point and simply start copy pasting it. Okay, there are a lot of other commands also which are little bit tricky to do, like an array command or something, which you can YouTube it and then do it. I'm just giving you the simplest and the most effective kind of a compound wall command. Sorry, not the compound wall, the command. Yes, I'm just was checking it. Okay, now I'll just simply, I can simply remove this lines. So, okay, so again, the step begins is let's trim the ones in between. Now you must be wondering why I have made this particular wall pier, brick pier as a block, because it will easily help us to now put a hatch. Don't worry about the plus hatch which is down, it might just disturb you a little bit. Okay, that's how we are finished with this side of the pier as well. Okay, now the piers which remains here is this. So again, as I said, center first, center center first. Make sure you cross check that twice. Okay, yeah. And now what is this value? 5550. So let's divide this line to 25. What dimension we get is, oh, it's too small. You have to go for division to 21021. Might be little around 4. Oh, still divide it into 16. Then we'll see what is the size. Oh, you have to go for 17. As I said, we have to come close between 3200 to 3400. So we have got this. So this is perfectly okay for us. Simply copy paste it now. So now I'm come out, regenerate it. You will get this particular circle bigger. It's easier for us to delete it. Okay, so this completes our setting out basically. Okay, that's how we are completing our setting out now. I'm just changing the value of it. What you can additionally do here. Okay, what you can additionally do here. What additional you can do is you can trim this. Oh, sorry, you have to make the values 0 far in this 0. Okay, you can just keep it like this also, that's not a problem. So we are given the median dimensions, median is mentioned, so that's not a problem. Any step is remaining? No. Okay, so uh, that's how we complete the setting out. Okay, so all the text and everything is mentioned, all the dimension is mentioned, all the information is mentioned, internal road, landscape, watchman's cabin, and everything is mentioned that way. Okay, make sure that the text is not overlap. If needed, you can hatch this. If not, if you don't have to hatch it. For example, if I wanted to simply hatch this particular thing, okay, I'll first select this. Maybe I'll change the color of it. Okay, later on come here, make this using Reddit. Okay, close. Yes. So now all the peers have got this gray, but this particular gray will create a problem here for me to identify the dimension tick. So hence, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to go for this, but not this. Sorry. I'm not actually going to go for any hatch because drawing is going to bet 1:5. And as simple as this, we have now completed our setting out plan. Okay, if you want this particular information to be again provided here, okay, you can then also do that. Okay, if you want to provide that information here, you can do that. Okay, similarly, if you wanted to give that particular information, okay, simply provide this information of fires to equally distributed fires everywhere. Okay. So that's how the information is complete. Just check the few scales and lines in your PDF, and then you're good to go. You can also change the color of it if you want to. Okay, so that this doesn't create much of a problem for you in this thing. Okay, so once I create the PDF of it as a line, I wanted to look at this particular drawing. I'm going to create this as a def point only. It goes out. Okay. It's going to look like this basically. So there is no much of a issue with the line weight. The elevation line weight we have to change. So we'll go to LA. Elevation line weight is 0.25. So I'll make it 0.05. Once we do that, check the language. Yeah, it's perfect now. So this is actually gray, not black. So this is all gray. So it's better if once it's printed, it's not a problem. Yeah. The one information which we have missed is you have to mention that ground floor plinth area. Okay, you have to mention that here so that we understand what line we have considered as a reference. Okay, so it could be somewhere, anywhere in this particular diagram. That's it. So by just looking at this, you can understand that this is how a final drawing is going to be seen when we are going to print it. Okay, all the dimensions and everything. Okay, so I hope this help you to understand the various steps and everything. If you do it stepwise with the understanding of construction and everything, this should help you better in terms of uh, in terms of completing this setting out. So this particular setting out drawing gives you a first hand information about what is where the plinth is going to be constructed, where we can create openings and everything. So that kind of an information we just have to provide. Okay, so there are a few dimensions which we can add, like how wide is going to be this. Okay, how wide it is going to, just an information. It may not actually help them in setting out. Okay, so we'll just give that few information here, nothing else. Okay, so that information is just giving how it is and how much is the uh, uh, width provided basically for the landscape area. It's like a creating the patches of landscape here and there. Okay, I'm giving all the measurements from unfinished to unfinished. So if you wanted to know what is going to be the gateway size and everything, you can mention it here if you want. Okay, you can just reduce this to just a little bit so the information. So it's a 4.5 meter gateway with the better control, and then it's become a 6 meter wide road and no surface parking. So that is also understood. If you wanted to create parking here, you can start showing the parking as well. Okay, so we have completed it from okay, we have completed it from this to this particular level. Okay, so if you do it stepwise, step by step, and if you do it with the understanding, it will be much easier. Okay, I hope you understand this and then you follow the procedure. Raise few questions if you have. Okay, all the best. Thanks.